evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 723rd edition of the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. I'm your host, Daniel Feuerstein. I'll give you American perspective of our clubs, leagues, players, national team, and other fabulous moments. Get your daily reading from me and other writers over at Beyond the 90, at beyondthe90.substack.com, and locally New York Soccer over at baddogsports.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the chat room here on YouTube is open. Come on in, discuss amongst yourselves if you like. If you have a question for me, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. And please, as always, subscribe here for your daily American soccer content. Obviously, you've been following certain things going on social media. And one of those things in American soccer with social media comes from down at Inter Miami. A colleague of mine, as you may know, his name is Franco Panizo. And, at this point in time, since the opening of the new stadium in downtown Miami, more closer to Miami International Airport, obviously, but still, though, it's in the residential area, but close to the airport. For two straight home matches, Franco Panizo has not been given a credential. I think everyone has seen that. And if you go to, his Twitter page, or I believe he also has a Blue Sky page. If you go to any of his social media areas, of course, our president of the Professional North American Soccer Writers Association, our union, has been very vocal about this situation. And look, Franco will get to it whenever he's ready, or if he has said something about it, and I haven't seen it yet from Franco's side of things. So, I'll take a look at it when I get the opportunity. I've been very busy on my end of things, unfortunately. But, I do support Franco. I can tell you I've worked with Franco when he made the move to New York City to cover the New York Red Bulls, now Red Bull New York, obviously. And I was with him in the press box at the time, of course, Red Bull Arena, in the press room as well. We've always had conversation. We've always talked to each other. We've always had, jokes flying around. Everything was great. Great guy. Just does a bang up job. And, he is someone that I respect a lot. I respect him a lot. And I just want to, once again, I've already spoken with Franco, and he already knows this, that he's got my full support because I know who he is and I know the type of reporter that he is. But I want to explain something to everyone else around there. If it's not us people, whether, you believe, we're independent reporters, that's fine. Look, I can definitely tell you I have been independent, I guess, for a long, long time now. But I have been working for a sports news service since before the 2000s came in. I began around the middle of December of 1999, all the way through the 2000s, going into 2010. A full decade plus where I used to work. They're not around anymore, unfortunately. And I've told you many, many stories about me doing the World Cup for them, for NBC affiliates, when it was South Korea and Japan, doing all those games, except for 2 days off, unfortunately. But I watched those games whenever I was able to. But once again, if you can't get professional journalists from the major news outlets that covers either the game itself, whether it be in MLS, United Soccer Leagues, the Championship, League One, League Two, NISA. Well, NISA's now gone, unfortunately. NPSL, the amateur division, now the League for Clubs, MLS Next Pro, however you slice it and however it happens. If you don't have us, who do you have for coverage for your local clubs? Because that's what it's about, the local clubs. MLS will always be there. MLS will do whatever they want, however they are going to do it. And unfortunately, you know, they only have probably one writer left after they got rid of Matt Doyle. But the point is this: who are you going to turn to when it comes to the independent writers that help you get your news coverage for your local clubs and for the league as well? And it's not just, writers or bloggers or podcasters. I do both. I write and cover the New York Red Bulls, Red Bull New York, and I have this platform at one time audio only, live streaming audio only when it was on Blog Talk Radio, and now I am here on StreamYard through YouTube, or YouTube through StreamYard, excuse me. And I am giving you all the coverage that you want on American soccer as much as I can do it on my own 2 feet. And who is going to do that for you if it's not for the independent journalists out there and the independent radio shows and the independent podcasters? Who will give that to you? Because in New York City, the Daily News has stopped it. The New York Times has basically given up on sports altogether. That's why they bought out The Athletic and made them part of their newspaper. So The Athletic basically runs the sports section for the New York Times online. They don't do any more print anymore. The New York Post for the Red Bulls, they do have a guy now going over, but, whenever he's there, I guess. I don't know. I've seen him a few times here and there. Other outlets are covering the club for the Red Bulls in New York. There is AM New York. There's also Athlon Sports in New York. But, we're seeing coverage of this game dwindle because of what's going on in the newspaper business. But that's no excuse. There should be coverage. There should be coverage for these teams that are trying to show that this sport matters in this country. And obviously, I've done many, many articles, many, many publications online, part of Champion Soccer Radio Network. I'm with Carter Krishna, of course, at times with World Soccer Talk, and now with him at Beyond the 90. And, Steve, honestly, it might. It really might. You never know. But I'm not going to speculate on these sort of things because obviously, you've got the Apple TV deal showing the games on, for MLS, showing the games on Apple. They have their Apple News website, of course. But we journalists who are, independent, we go out there and we want to give you good, honest, fair coverage of your clubs. I feel grateful that I know many, many writers, many, many bloggers, whether you want to say, and I give them I bring them over here to give them the platform. Because as great as it is to have Michael Lewis, who's been a soccer journalist all his life, hopefully get Stephen Goff on here. I've always had Dave Johnson on from DC United. I've had, hope to get, Kevin Baxter in Los Angeles. Try to get all these professional writers to come on, these professional broadcasters that come on, professional sport, TV analysts that come on to talk about the game because, I want to give everyone that opportunity to come on this show and to give just to give their thoughts. And that's why when I was part of SB Nation, I wanted to give everyone on that platform for MLS clubs, that whatever websites we had for some of these MLS clubs, whether it be Big D Soccer for FC Dallas, Burgundy Wave for Colorado Rapids, LA Confidential, which was the Galaxy. Um, at the time, it's now Bayou Soccer City in Houston. Um, you know, Soccer Down Here from Atlanta. Mainland in Orlando. Obviously, now then the Bent Musket, now the Blazing Musket that covers New England. The Canadian writers over in Vancouver, 86 Forever, Walking the Red, I think it's called. Um, in Toronto, Mount Royal Soccer that does Montreal. Hot Time in Old Town, which was the Chicago Fire. You know, pod Goats on Parade, or Angels on Parade it was now for LAFC. I wanted to give everyone that fair and give them their moment in the sun. And I say to them, look, I want you guys to, have this opportunity to feel that you're a part of this, that you're a part of something. And that's why I try to do this show the right way and the fair way. And it's not just those guys who I gave the time to, but before then, when I started doing my own show, I give the people that I was part of Champion Soccer Radio Network for the Around the League show, which was representing MLS. I give those guys their fair shot as well. And one of my guests tonight is from those Champion Soccer Radio days, Mike Kuhn, my good friend Mike Kuhn in the Kansas City area. He's been part of this show for a long, long time. There's been other people who have been part of this show for a long, long time, but they're not around anymore, unfortunately. There's also Patrick Quinn in the Denver area doing the Rapids, but he's been more of a fan. But he does come on my show because I want to give him the time. I want to give him the opportunity. And hopefully I can get the Burgundy Wave on, those guys. Even Massive Report that did the Columbus Crew. I try to bring those guys back on whenever I can. And I have to get their contact information again because I know I probably misplaced it somewhere. But this is what we do for you. We give up our seats in the stands so that we can provide you the coverage and to give you our thoughts, basically to let our words be our voice towards you guys. From top to bottom. First day, second day, third day, start of the season, middle of the season, end of the season. We are here to give you the coverage that you want. Because if the professional journalists and the professional newspapers are not going to do their jobs, we are here for you. And so that is why I continue doing this show. I continue to cover the club. I continue to cover the game the way I believe it should be covered. And that is why when we get ready for my first guest tonight, obviously, it's for Kansas City fans, sporting Kansas City fans. But my next episode, my next show can be about San Diego FC. It could be about the Seattle Sounders. It could be about the Portland Timbers. It could be about Minnesota United FC. And when they come on, they give me their best, and I give you my best as much as I can. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and always remember, we are here for you. If it's not just for your clubs, it's for the league as a whole, and it's for this game as a whole. So please support us. Whether you like us or you hate us, support us. Because if the professional writers that work for these newspapers are not around anymore, who are you going to turn to? Because who you're going to turn to is AI from the MLS website, and that's not what you want. You want emotion. You want our words to be written precisely. Because if it's not us, it's nobody. And it's just the games, and that's it. So hopefully, we can all be thankful and grateful, and we can continue doing our jobs the right way and a positive way as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about tonight's segment sponsor is Dino Luzzi Energy Drink. When I need that extra kick to power through match analysis and late night transfer rumors, there's only one drink that delivers authentic Italian energy, and that's Dino Luzzi. Crafted in Italy with the same passion I bring to this show, because real energy comes from real ingredients, just like real soccer talk comes from real insiders. Great show for you tonight. Joining me right now, my first guest, and he is the writer for the KC Soccer Journal. It's been a good friend of mine for a very long time. Mike Kuhn joining me now. Kuhny, it's great to finally see your face for such a long time. We've only known each other by voice. How are you, my friend? And good evening.
I'm doing well. Good evening to you too, Daniel.
So, obviously, Sporting Kansas City right now. Brand new era, brand new coaching staff. So far, what have you seen that you liked, and what other things have you seen that you have not liked?
I mean that's kind of hard to say because we've there are moments where I feel like we're getting better, like there are steps we're taking, and then the very next game will come out and will look horrible. Like this weekend against San Jose wasn't the worst, but that's also looking at it from the lens of the Salt Lake game the week before was absolutely atrocious. So, I mean, if there's one thing I like, it's Dejan Joveljic continuing to score goals and finding ways to score goals, even though he gets like 2-3 touches a game, it seems like. But I mean, it's just there's still so many questions with this team, especially on defense. We just don't look comfortable defending at all, I guess is a nice way of putting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, I think you know that it's going to take some time to get back to where Sporting Kansas City should be. I mean, look, all those years with Peter Vermees, obviously, and when it looked like it should have been over, but he finds a way to get them back to where they are. And then unfortunately it sputters in the playoffs. And, I just feel like that change did have to come. And look, I'm not going to crap all over Peter, obviously. Look, he deserves whatever plaudits he gets for all the years of service he's had with the club.
No, absolutely no. I'm not gonna. I mean, yeah, as you said, it was time for him to go. It was probably time for him to go a few years ago. The playoff run and beating St. Louis probably prolonged the necessity to make that move, basically. But no, it's something that had needed to be done, and it just you knew it was going to be a difficult task to rebuild this team, especially when they were just going to dump so much of last year's roster. But it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually live it. And living it right now kind of sucks.
Yep, trust me, I've had some of those seasons before over, whether it be Metro Stars or Red Bulls. Believe me, I know exactly where you're coming from. But overall, what have you seen so far? I guess starting goalkeeper, Camp, I think it is. How has he been for the club so far, or have they rotated the goalkeeping position?
No, it's basically been Camp since Melia left before last season. And I mean, I was of the opinion last year that you had to give him consistent time. You had to give him get the chance to see if he was the talent that this team could build around. And at this point, I like Camp, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's him. Basically, I'm not sure he's the guy for that position. Really, just he and I say that knowing full well, like last weekend against San Jose, the average age of our back line and goalkeeper was like 21. So, I mean, he's not playing with a let's call it competent defense in front of him, a very confident defense in front of him. So it's hard to gauge how good he really is, but he's not saving us points, I guess. And at this point, if you're not helping us, you're kind of hurting us. And I mean, he's not taking the step that it felt like he's needed to take as a starter.
No, absolutely. I was shocked that Daniel Shallowy is on Toronto FC. I was very shocked. I didn't think he was going to get chopped off the back end of the last season. I thought he was going to be part of Sporting Kansas City forever. Why was that happening?
I mean, I think it was a, a factor of he was going into a contract year, and I'm not sure he was in David Lee's future plans beyond this season. Even with his tenure with Kansas City, I'm not sure if his long-term future was here. And with the fact that we knew we were going to be bad this year, we knew we weren't going to be good. The opportunity came about where Toronto reached out and was like, "Hey, what do you want for Shallowy?" And we named our price, and they met it. So no, I wish nothing for the best. I wish we still had him at times when I look at how our wings have played so far this season. But I'm I wouldn't have wanted to hold on to him just to have him when we were going to get rid of him at the end of the season. It becomes a factor of cashing in while you still can on the player, basically. So yeah, I love Daniel. Love what he did. Was hoping at some point he would challenge Preki for the club's leading scorer, but obviously that's not going to happen now. But I wish him the best in Toronto, and I
Do
honestly
you?
I know very
Mhm,
few who would not do that at this point.
No, absolutely. I would like to think maybe they'll do like maybe a 1 day contract and he'll retire as a Sporting KC player. I think that'd be the best thing for them.
I would that'd be nice. I'm not sure how the new regime would look at that. I mean, if there was anybody that should have done that, it should have been someone like Beasler, who didn't get that opportunity after he left Austin. So that was the prior regime. Maybe the new regime will turn that around, and when Shallowy is ready to retire, maybe he gets a 1 day contract to retire as a
Mm.
sporting player.
Yep, I hope so. We'll see what happens. Dejan Joveljic, how has he looked so far with this under new leadership?
I mean, he's still looking like a top class forward. I mean, he got back in the Serbian national team this past international window after being away for a long time with at the later stages of his Galaxy term and last year with Sporting. So he's still doing his job up there. He's making the most of the few chances he gets. I mean, he has 4 goals this year, 4 of our 7, I want to say at this point. So I mean,
Hmm.
he set up Bartlett's goal on Saturday. So that's 6 assists or 4 goals, 2 assists in the 7 goals we've scored this year. So he's doing great. Him and Manu Garcia are clearly the class of the team still at this point. So yeah, I just hope that they don't get sick of the losing and be asked to leave, basically.
Yeah, I hope not either. You know, since this new regime has taken over, obviously brand new coaching staff and everything, are some of the things you've seen so far on the pitch that says to you, okay, it's not looking great right now, but I do see this future possibly coming in and the club can be better. And at the same time, who from Sporting KC2 has been given the opportunity to perform on the first team?
As for what I've seen, the one thing that I do like is that it seems like we're like one of the things under Vermes was we're going to play our style. It's our style. Teams are going to have to adjust to our style. And at points that became just beating your head against a brick wall trying to play our style. And what Wiki's done is he has a style that he wants to play, but he's willing to adjust tactics depending on the opposition that we play, which is one thing that I like, and is one thing that I think you need in modern football. You can't be so dogmatic in one style that you are like, screw what anybody else is doing, screw what our opponent's doing. We're going to play our way. We're going to make them play our way, because that comes back to bite you more often than not. As for the second part of your question, with SKC2, I mean, it's hard to say really, because SKC2 has been worse than Sporting has the last couple of years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we signed Cello Chantrik from the twos ahead of this season. But he's made the bench a few times. He's not gotten into a game yet. We've called up a few guys on short-term loans. Shane Donovan's the only one that's gotten into a game, and that was 1 minute, I think, against Columbus, maybe, or San Diego. One of those two in the home games, he got onto the field for a little bit there. But I mean, there's not been a lot in the second team that looks like they're ready to make the jump. Some of the academy players maybe in a couple years, but those kids are 15, 16, maybe 17 years old. And I mean, all of them can't be Ian James and ready to step into the first team now. So, I mean, maybe those kids come good, but it's hard to watch any Sporting team right now, really.
Yeah, I understand, definitely. And, with Raphael Wittke coming over, obviously had that short stint with the Chicago Fire in MLS, but still, though, what gives you the confidence that he can turn this thing around? If not sometime this season, maybe 2027 or 2028. Well, then again, we will move to the international calendar very soon, and all that fun stuff
I
later
mean,
on.
blind hope, maybe. I mean, I have to hope that it's going to get better. I have to hope that part of the reason he wasn't successful with the Fire was because of their horrid front office. Because if it's not, Sporting's going to be right back doing another rebuild with a new coach here in another year and a half, 2 years, something like that. If he turns out that he just can't do it outside of Switzerland. So I don't know. I want him to be successful, but it's just really hard with the ebbs and flows of what we're seeing from the team right now.
Mm-hmm. One of my watchers was posting here. He says it seems like they had a tough time ever since they moved to the Western Conference. You think that's true, or do you just think it's just the era just came to an end?
I think a little bit, but not entirely. I mean, since we moved to the Western Conference, we've still won 2 U.S. Open Cups. We made the Western Conference final in 2018, I think it was. We've not been. It's not been as successful as the early Sporting years have been, but it's not been bad. It's just been bad basically since COVID. Basically, a little bit after. I mean, we had the COVID season, which we all like to forget, where we technically finished first in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you kind of throw all of that out the window, basically. And then we missed the playoffs, made the playoffs, beat St. Louis, missed the playoffs, and here we are, basically. So it's just been the last few years have been rough, and I can see why, looking at it from the scope of where we're at now, why it would seem that way. But the first few years after we moved from the back west were not bad. We had our moments. We just weren't at the level we were before.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Let me ask you this, and obviously, when this season ends in December of 2026, we're going to have that sprint season. I guess I would say middle or end of February till end of April, squeezing in 15 games in a short schedule, playoffs in May, summer break, June, and then we get to middle of July of 2027, and then we have it the way that everyone else does it in Europe and around the world. Obviously, you're in the Midwest, and I know, like, being from New York and living in New Jersey, I know it gets super cold January, February, but obviously you have to live through those harsh probably more harsh conditions than I had to handle. I get the occasional blizzard or abomination of a blizzard hit my area, even though it looks picturesque, but in reality, it's a pain in the butt. What's your thoughts on the movement of the calendar?
I mean, for me, it doesn't change a whole lot. I mean, we're already starting our season in February as it is. We're just bumping it. Like last year, we played Miami on in like the first week of February in the Champions Cup. Yeah, it was really cold for that, but I mean, we it's not like we're starting the season. It's not like the start of the season right now is that different from where the winter break's going to end. I mean, from my understanding, we're not going to be playing in January. We're going to be playing. We're going to take the break from like early to mid December through the month of January, basically. So, I mean, it's kind of as the season is right now. We're just not getting the quote unquote summer months, basically, and we're putting you're putting the playoffs up against NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and regular season baseball instead of the behemoth that is the NFL and college football. So in that case, I'll take putting our the biggest games of the season, the playoffs, against. For me, it feels like the NHL and the NBA just drag out forever their
Mm-hmm.
playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd rather put MLS against that than put it against any of the NFL regular season and the college football. Like I remember 2013 Sporting MLS Cup was the same day as the SEC championship game, and
Yep.
Mizzou was in the SEC championship game that year. So it's like I'd rather see MLS Cup in May, early June, and have to deal with maybe a Royals home game in the regular season versus a potential of going up against the Chiefs, going up against Mizzou, even if KU manages to get good again, basically. So I'm for it. I understand, like further north, Minnesota. I wouldn't want to go to a lot of that, and I mean, I would expect we'll get some staggered where they'll like from mid-November through February through the month of February, they won't play any home games, basically. But it yeah, I think it's good in terms of developing or being able to acquire players in the same in the general window where Europe's trying to acquire players. I think that's hurt the league. I know it's hurt sporting a lot
Oh, I bet.
over the
Yep. It's
years.
hurt. It's hurt all of us. Let's put it this way. That's hurt all of us with the transfer windows. Absolutely.
So yeah,
It really.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, like both. I mean, with you and the Red Bulls, I'm sure it'll help you guys in terms of not losing your young talent. Like who is it? Hall? Is that
Yep.
the
Yep.
new young super? I'm sure it
We
would be
have a
great.
couple actually. CUNY, we
Mhm.
have a couple. We got Julian Hall, we got Audrey Metmeti, and that kid's been making all the US soccer
Mhm.
fans salivate online. Matthew Dos Santos, and they've been pretty damn good so
Yeah.
far in these first 7 games of the season.
Well, and that makes it like when it comes to the time for you guys to cash in and sell them, I'm sure it'll feel better doing it when it's in the off season versus hey, we're selling you in the middle of the season. We now have to scramble to find a replacement for them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Without a doubt. Be so much better when that happens. And then hopefully for sporting, you'll find the right import to bring over, whether it be from Europe or South America or even from Mexico. You never know. I mean, could be from Africa. I mean, they can come over and you just have to sell them the house. Sell them whatever houses they want. Let them know where the closest bar is and the chicken wing place, and they'll be just fine. You know that. You know how to do that.
No, no, absolutely. I mean, for all of Vermeer's faults, that's one of the things that he said a lot, and it does reign true specifically for Kansas City. It's one you have to get them on the plane, get them on the
Yeah.
plane there, and you can sell Kansas City. I mean, the big thing with the World Cup is all about how the bid committee for Kansas City sold FIFA on everything in Kansas City, sold Argentina, sold England, to the fact that we had to create a fourth training site to accommodate them in Kansas City. So it all goes back to the mantra of, we got to get them on the plane. You get them on the plane, you get them to visit, then you can sell them on Kansas City. The problem is getting them on the plane. And
Yep.
maybe with the change, maybe in the off season, it would be easier to get them to get on the plane to come here to take a look.
Exactly. So what's it going to be now from here on out, CUNY? Saturday afternoons, Mizzou and KU football. Saturday night, Sporting Kansas City. Sunday, the Chiefs. I mean, you're going to have it made.
I mean, it'll be
every
nice, and then in the winter months, November, December, I'll still have my indoor soccer fix as well, so that'll work out for me, and then I'll have my leagues and stuff. So I'll keep busy.
There you go. Great to hear. By the way, how are the kids? They're doing well. Your daughters
They're
in
no daughters, 2 sons.
I mean your sons. I'm sorry.
No,
Sons.
you're good. You're good. 2 sons. One is getting ready to graduate, and one's in middle school. So it's going well.
Graduating high school?
Yes.
And it's all over for you.
Uh-huh.
One down and one to go.
Exactly. One out, one to go.
There you go. And then what? You've already got them. You already have them to put the foot in the backside and say, "Go get your own place."
Not quite. Not quite.
I know.
He's got college to get through at this point.
Oh, that's true too. I forgot about college. Yeah, he'll probably go to an academy somewhere, and then he'll just get paid and just run around and be a pro.
We wish.
CUNY, as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks again for coming on. Hope to have you on again soon. And finally, glad to see you face to face now, even though it's by computer camera. But still, though, if you want to get together, you let me know, okay?
Will do. Hopefully, next time we talk, I actually have some more good stuff to talk about for sports.
I hope so, too. I want you to have that good stuff. I'll take care, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
You too. Talk to you later, Daniel.
I talk to you later. Mike Kuhn from KC Soccer Journal, covering Sporting Kansas City and anything in the Kansas City area, not just in Kansas, but also in Missouri. So it's been a lot of fun to have a conversation with Mike Kuhn. He's one of those guys that I've known for a very long time, from my time at Champion Soccer Radio Network. I've brought him in, and he's been with me ever since, and it's great. That's a guy that I can definitely bring him in and just have some fun, and just you can talk all night long probably about soccer and everything. I know I'm a big talker sometimes, I admit it, but I like to have fun. I like to have fun, and just treat everyone like they're a good friend. They're colleagues, but they're also good friends. That's how I like to view it. Anyways, moving on. As everyone knows already, Montreal has sacked another head coach. Marco Donadell is gone. It is over. He is now Dunzo. And, Montreal has become one of those clubs now that used to, Montreal was always that club, whether it be, in the USL days, in MLS, that they went for the big names and they tried to get the big names. But, the problem has always been, who's going to be the head coach? And after that wonderful season of Wilfred Nancy, before he was basically picked up out of the blue by the Columbus Crew and gave them an MLS Cup championship and gave them a Leagues Cup championship, Montreal has not been doing that great. They have played 7 matches this season and 1 win and 6 losses. 1 win and 6 losses. It's unbelievable after everything he's tried to do, and it's just not been the greatest. And they've been on the road 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight road games. They've been on the road, and they come back home, and they had a lead on the Philadelphia Union. They should have scored more than 1 goal, But what happened? Philadelphia Union came up big. Andre Blake once again pulling saves out of his rear end, and the Union win it 2-1. And then Donadell is Dunzo, gone, finito. And now they're going to have 3 more home games right now. And they're, should I say, 2 more home games. I apologize. I have their schedule up. They're going to take on the New York Red Bull New York this upcoming weekend. 2:30 p.m. Eastern, then another 2:30 in the afternooner over on April the 25th against NYCFC, and then they go on the road to Atlanta and then back home for a Canadian Championship match against the Calgary Blizzard, and that'll be seen for everyone over at One Soccer in Canada. Everything else will be on Apple TV. Now, look, if you're going to have your club start how many consecutive road games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive road games, and then you come home for the home opener. First of all, Donadell should never have been sacked in the first place. I'm sorry. 6 straight road games to start the season for the Impact, unless they were not able to get inside Stade Saputo because of the whole refurbishment of the Olympic Stadium just down the pathway, a little bit south of it or a little bit east of it. That's not fair. That's not fair. Donadell should have been given more time, more of a longer leash. He only started last year. And then you give him a year and a quarter or a year and 6, 7 games, and that's it. You're done with him. If I'm Joey Saputo, I should have rethought that a little bit, because you got to be realistic with the schedule that you have against you. You got a damn good San Diego FC side. You have a Chicago Fire side that's been rejuvenated. Obviously, there was Red Bull New York, that they had that game coming, unfortunately, because, well, I will say this, a referee screwed him. And I'll get to him another time. I already talked to you about him anyway. You go on the road. You should have won in Orlando. You didn't. You had a banger of a match against FC Cincinnati away. You still lost. You go to New England, and it's a 3-0 loss. And, fine. You should have won your home opener, but you couldn't. A goal backing. I really do. I blame the league more for giving Montreal 6 straight road games. That's impossible. Look, unless they're building something new near Stade Saputo, that should not have happened. Okay? That should not have happened. If the Olympic Stadium is being refurbished and you can't play those games, okay, I understand that. But still, though, the sacking is just, to me, it's just not right. Normally, I wouldn't care about this situation. Normally, I wouldn't care. But to be fair and to be honest, I do care, because I truly believe that was the wrong thing to do. I really do. I just believe that Donadell should have remained with CF Montreal, with Club de Foot Montreal. He should have stayed in Montreal. But unfortunately, I don't work for the club. I don't make the decisions for that club, and I don't speak French. But hey, it's okay. Montreal is a great city. I've been there many, many times. Love Montreal. I have family in Montreal. I want to try and get back to Montreal as much as I can. Hopefully one day it'll happen. But honestly, I just believe that it was the wrong time for Donadell to be sacked. But once again, there's only so much he can do with that roster. Only so much he can do. He only got 1 win out of 7 matches. It's the roster he had. And it looks like Montreal is not opening up the piggy bank right now. They're not opening up the purse strings. So what can he do? with the roster that he has right now. What can he do? I'll tell you right now, I don't know what he can do. I think I honestly believe he was screwed from uh from right away when he took the job. And look, that's what it is sometimes. You have no choice. You have to you're dealt the cards that was handed to you by the dealer. And so, you're not going to see Didier Drogba return. You're not going to see Marco Di Vaio return. You're not going to see some of these great Canadian players returning. You're not. You're going to have to move forward, and you're going to have to fix things up, and you're going to have to make things better. And hopefully Montreal can change it up. But until then, what are you going to Just Saputo really needs to take a look at himself and has to understand that something's going wrong over there and he has to fix it in a different way. And look, he can do whatever he wants with his club. I'm not here to tell him what he should or shouldn't do. But honestly, I just believe that sacking Donadell now at the end of the last match, which was at home at Stade Saputo, I thought that was the wrong thing to do. I think he should not have sacked him at all. He should have kept him on and say, look, I understand. I'm going to keep you on for a little longer. And hopefully, they could have had a run in the Canadian Championship. But until then, it's I just think it's a little ill-advised for him to go out there and sack him. Should have just kept him. But what are you going to do? Like I said, I don't run the club. I have no I can't. I have no say what goes on over there at CF Montreal. But once again, just my personal opinion, I personally feel with the schedule the way it was the wrong thing to do at that particular time this past weekend. I just think it's wrong. I just think he should have stayed a little longer. That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on now to the Red Bull review segment. And what a match it was at the brand new stadium, new stadium in Miami, Florida, where the Red Bull New York club visited Inter Miami and they grab a 2-2 draw, a fabulous result on the road. Fabulous. I'm telling you, it was unbelievable what I saw from this Red Bull side. Just look, we all know what Julian Hall can do. We all know what Adri Mehmedi can do. We all know what Matthew Dos Santos can do. And of course, some of the newer players, bringing back Cade Cowell, fantastic. Bringing over Jorge Ruvalcaba from Pumas in Liga MX, fabulous. Julian Hall has been on fire ever since he got the nod to be the starting striker on this club. Many expected Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting. He is taking his backup role. He's taking his bench role very well. He's coming in here and there, and hopefully, we'll see what happens further down the road. But let me tell you, when that first goal went in, and just even before the ball went into the back of the net, Cade Cowell running towards the near side touchline, and he just boots it down the pitch to Julian Hall. He flicks it forward, and off he goes, making a run. He's making a fabulous run down the near side towards the Inter Miami net, and then he puts on the brakes on the two center backs trying to catch up to him. He basically leaves them in his dust. Saw Ruvalcaba, the trailer, coming in, makes a solid pass right to Ruvalcaba. He just takes a slight touch and he buries it to make it 1-0 in the 15th minute. And then here comes Inter Miami. Obviously, they feel insulted. These kids are scoring against us. We cannot let this happen. And then they're trying to score. They're trying to break through. They're trying to level the match up. And great job by Ethan Horvath on Rodrigo De Paul because honestly, De Paul had Horvath dead to rights. No way he was going to stop anything. Maybe the shot wasn't good enough, but still, though, you don't know that. And Horvath stands his ground. He gets his arm out, left arm out, somehow stops the ball, knocked it down, and then he pounces on top of it. And DePaul is just floundering and upset at himself. Excuse me, just on the end line because he thought he should have scored. And reality is he should have scored, and he didn't. And he paid for it. But we didn't see anything in the net until first half stoppage time. And yes, the goal was just 4 to 6 seconds inside the final and only minute of first half stoppage time. Matteo Silvetti, nothing you can do on that one, just placed perfectly by him. He buried it and made it 1-1 to halftime. And even though you would love to have seen the Red Bulls exit the pitch 1-0, I think for Michael Bradley, he enjoyed that first half. That was sensational. To be honest with you, I was not disappointed that Miami scored. I honestly thought they're going to score more than the one goal in that opening half. They should have had at least 3 or 4 goals to put into the back of the net. Should have. And they didn't. And for the Red Bulls, they took advantage of it. And, they took the lead from the 15th minute all the way until first half stoppage time. Now, 10 minutes after the restart, and unfortunately, Messi will not be credited with an assist there because Adrien Mehmeti he stole the ball off of Messi's feet, but stripped it and allowed Herman Berterami to get that chance to score. He did so, 2-1 Inter Miami, and it looked like, okay, Rebels have some work to do here. And it did look like it was going to be 2-2 at that time in the 62nd minute, but because of VAR coming in, and yes, it's true, Cade Cowell was at least toes and a little more offside on the far side of the pitch on the review. And they had to wipe out Robert Voloder's goal, which would have made it 2-2 at that time. And then, of course, we all know what happened with the training ground play. Emil Forsberg, low roller on the pitch to Julian Hall. He's got 2 defenders on him. He's going forward, then he goes back up. And he turns around and goes forward, and then he starts to attack. And then as soon as he gets closer towards the end line, fabulous cross to his teammate, Adrien Mehmeti. It's actually Audrey. I forgot to put the D there. That's my fault. Sorry about that. Adrien Mehmeti. And he slid in, scored it 2-2, 77th minute. Red Bulls hold on. Fabulous saves again by Ethan Horvath as he stopped a big free kick by Lionel Messi, dove to his left for the near post, made the save. And how about Luis Suarez? He watched that ball and he thought it was going to go in. And when Horvath makes the save, walks up to Horvath, low 5. Absolutely. Thank you very much. It's just like what hockey players do when they credit the opposition goaltender for making an amazing pad save, stick save, glove save, blocker save, chest save, whatever. Suarez did the same thing. Hey, that's a good save. Became a corner. Nothing happened. And then after that, the final 6 minutes of second half stoppage time, the whistle blew. It was all over. 2-2 the result for the Red Bulls at the new stadium in Miami. And for the Red Bulls, they take a point. They have 11 points right now after 7 games. This coming Saturday, once again, Montreal CF will host Red Bull New York at the Stade Saputo. And honestly, A little bit of revenge, obviously. New head coach is coming in, but right now I think the Red Bulls, they could get ready for this. New philosophy. It's not going to translate right away. Perfect time to take 3 points on the road and get your second win of the season. Absolutely fantastic. Excuse me. So, big moment here for the Red Bulls. Big moment here for the Red Bulls to go to Montreal and take all 3 points. But before that, this coming Wednesday, the New York Red Bulls will host, Red Bull New York will host Pittsburgh Riverhounds of USL Championship for the third round of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. You can watch that match on Paramount Plus, or if you want to watch a little Golazo Network action, you can go to PlutoTV.com for the Golazo Network and watch the Golazo show for the Open Cup this coming Wednesday. But once again, you want to watch the match itself, Paramount Plus, go to ParamountPlus.com and click for the sports section, go for the Open Cup window, click it, look for Red Bull New York versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and off you go. Or, really simple, go to the game. And then they will await the club that will win their match, either traveling to Mount Vernon, New York in Westchester County for Westchester SC, or hosting NYCFC and have another Hudson River Derby in the Open Cup. We'll see what happens in the midweek, but for now, it's just, I'll say it once again, 2-2 draw. I want them to win, but the draw is also a damn good result. Don't throw it away. Take your point, put it in your back pocket, tell Messi, thank you very much for the hospitality. We are done with you. And ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Hardy har, har har, har har. Yeah, sure. So that's what's going to be. Messi lost a point. And by the way, that's the first time in about, I would say, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches that the Red Bulls have taken a point when Messi's been on the pitch for Inter Miami. And they finally got their draw. And of course, they'll be at Sports Illustrated Stadium later in the season in the second half. So wait when that game does come over and we'll be ready for it and off we go. But once again, great stuff, great action. All here on the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. I want to thank my guest tonight, Mike Kuhn from Kansas City Sports Journal, talking about Sporting Kansas City and everything else involved. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. Don't forget, this coming Friday night, we will have CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinal second leg review show. Then the following Monday, Open Cup Round 3 review. And then on Tuesday, next Tuesday, another Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. Once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. And as always, please, 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 please enjoy your football. Thank you. Take care. So long. Have a good night. And bye-bye for now. Have a good night, everybody.